What's going on, party people? It is your boy Coop here, and today we are looking at the Unkillable Nekros. This is going to be my Equilibrium Nekros build, and this thing is nasty. As you'll see in just a minute, I'm going to pop us forward, and we're going to be fighting against some level 150 plus enemies, and I could have just kept going, but you know, after an hour plus playing by yourself, you kind of get a little bit bored, and you maybe want to join with some friends. I don't mind going 4 hours in these, but you know, by myself, it's like, okay. 150 kind of proves the point that I was trying to prove. So that's the footage that I needed. So what we're going to be using is Equilibrium. Equilibrium means every time you pick up a health orb, it's going to give you energy, and every time you pick up an energy orb, it's going to give you health. We're also going to be using the Augment Despoil and the Augment Shield of Shadows, as well as health conversion. So what health conversion does is every time you pick up a health orb, it's going to give you an enormous amount of armor that stacks up to 3 times. What Despoil does is it makes it so whenever you toggle your third ability, which makes enemies drop more loot for you, and they're always going to be dropping those red bean bags, those red little health orbs, looks like a little liver, looks like their spleen just like falls out of their pocket. Every time you kill somebody, they're going to drop you a health orb. And since it's using a little bit of your health in order to make that despoil effect proc, you're going to be able to pick up the health orb. Because if you're at full health, you can't pick up health orbs unless your health goes down a little bit. This way, every time despoil activates on an enemy, it takes down, and we're talking about a minuscule amount of health, like 2 or 3 health, something like that. But you're getting an orb for 50 health right after that, plus this armor buff. And see those little like squares that are circling around my dude right there? Those squares show the buff. So you're going to want to pair this with some Arcane Guardians, if you have them. If you don't, no big deal. You're still going to be pretty much unkillable. Now, as you can see, I'm with some high-level enemies here. They're in the hundreds, and they just can't do anything. They can't even hardly get my shield down, because Shield of Shadows, it makes it so every time you resurrect those enemies. So with Nekros, for those of you who don't know how this works, you kill an enemy, then you use your 4th ability, and it respawns those enemies back as minions to come fight for you. Basically, Nekros is like that dude. He walks into your house, you know, he messes up your room, you know, he slaps you in front of your girlfriend thinks he's hot, she leaves you for him, and then he tells you to clean up the house afterwards. That's what Nekros does. It's the ultimate, like, shaming. He kills the dudes and then makes them come back and do whatever he wants. And then, whenever he gets shot, it hurts them. It doesn't hurt Nekros. So 6% of damage for each minion spawned is going to be negated, which means 7 enemies spawn. So 6 times 7, what's that, 42? 42% of all incoming damage is going to go to your minions instead of you. Now add all these things together, and what do you have? You have a nasty, super duper sexy, out of control, ridiculous, totally retarded, unkillable frame. This dude has the armor that's stacking over and over and over. You're spawning in enemies that are absorbing most of the damage anyway. So plus the negated damage from all the armor, the negated damage from your enemies taking this, plus the fact that you can keep reprocking that armor stack because you have on Despoil. This combination is redonkulous. I mean, you guys have to try this if you have not already. The main difference in this, some people don't want to use Equilibrium. Maybe they want to use something like, you know, every time you take damage that it restores a little bit of your energy. I don't think you need that at all, because health orbs are giving you energy with Equilibrium. That's what I think is more unique about this build. And let's go ahead and actually just hop right into this so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. And look, I mean, y'all can see my Nekros is looking just so fine. I do not know why energy siphons on there. So there's Equilibrium right here. This is the thing that the whole build is built around, that mod. You also have Shield of Shadows, health conversion, vitality. Vitality is just so you can have the extra health since you are using the health. Then we got Despoil, Intensify, and an Augur Secrets, just to give those minions, when you spawn them, it just gives them a little more damage output, and that's why we got that on there. And then Continuity for some duration, because they will start dying the second you spawn in your minions. They start dying. So you want a little bit of duration just so they last a little bit longer. And some of you are like, oh my god, look at this. He only has, you know, a tiny bit of duration and a tiny bit of power strength. I want my Nekros to have 399 power strength. Okay, loser. Whatever. You do whatever you want. But it's just so unnecessary, okay? It just does. You just don't need it. All you need is a little bit of power strength, a little bit of duration to make this build ridiculous. Now, if you're playing by yourself, the other thing is, when you're in survival, life support is key. You gotta keep up your life support. Nekros forcing these enemies to drop extra loot, it makes them... Now, I don't know what DE was thinking exactly, because you can fly around in space in an Arcwing. You don't gotta worry about life support. So tell me why you gotta get these like little Walmart bags that are full of air, and I don't know where they're even keeping those. Like, seriously, where is that bag? It looks like someone like held a trash sack out the window, their lunchbox, let some air get in there, then they tied up the bottom of the bag, you know, and then it keeps falling down every time you kill one of them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever. I don't know why you can't breathe in this room. Like, they're gonna have to have some toxic air or something, seeing how I can breathe in space just fine. And also considering that you're not even a person, you're a, you know, kind of like a robot or something. It doesn't make sense why you need the air, but whatever, you know, just a little bit of a flaw in that game type, but whatever. We're just gonna appreciate the fact that we can get the air very easily. So I'm purposefully in this video not killing super fast, just to show you guys how relaxed you can take this. Your KPS, or kills per second, don't have to be super high with Nekros, because almost every enemy is going to be dropping you some life support when you kill them, and they're all going to be dropping the red beam bags of health for that armor boost. So this build, guys, is amazing. And I'm also using the AkMagnus, and no, that is not the name of a condom brand. The AkMagnus, like Magnus, man. This weapon just got a really sexy buff, okay? It got double damage from what it had before, and I'm having no problem just completely smoking these level 150 plus enemies who have extra armor, because this is MOT. They're armored up to the teeth. They're the most armored enemy type in the game. And basically what you're going to want to do if you're using the AkMagnus, since it is primarily a slash-based weapon, meaning the majority of the damage output from this weapon is slash-based. So I pair this with Viral. Why do you do that, Coop? Please tell me. Okay, I will. So the reason you want to do this is because slash is going to bypass the armor. In most cases, you got to take the enemy's armor all the way down, right? And then you can start working on their health. But slash goes ahead and bypasses that armor and just starts making them bleed out. Then with Viral, it halves the health. So since you're halving the enemy's health, and then you're making them bleed out from just half health, they just die a lot faster. So just always remember, if you compare slash and Viral, that's one of the greatest combinations, elemental combos in this game. I know a lot of veteran players already know that, but there's a lot of new players out there too who are just getting into the game, and I want to show some of these guys some of the great builds that I'm still finding, like new, crazy, fun, cool builds in this game. And that's why I love Warframe, because it always seems like you can find like some little cool thing, some little combo with a sentinel and a weapon that's just really awesome. Now, the AkMagnus, I'm also like rocking the a sniper rifle, which was a bad choice because it's really difficult when you spawn in all these minions to be sitting here sniping. Now, the Vectus is a great weapon, but I was really just testing a Hunter's Munitions Vectus build just to kind of see how it would go, and I'll probably make a separate video on that at some point, but just for now, that's just kind of what I was doing. So I'm really just going to show y'all like how the AkMagnus does. Also, you may want to have a whip. If you got the money whip, you know, like the one they use at the strip club, you slap people, dollar bills fall out their butt cheeks, that's what you want. The Secure Electa is what I'm talking about. Or you could use something like the Scoliac, anything you want. I'm actually using the OMA for myself because it does such enormous damage on slide. So it's just a good way, and you can have condition overload because you're proccing a lot of different statuses. You know, you got your minions, you got some bombard minions, you know, shooting some napalm up at people. It's just getting out of control. It's getting crazy. But whenever those I almost call them infested, the corrupted ancients, when they spawn in, make sure you take them out, because if you've noticed throughout this video, sometimes I'm shooting these dudes and it's not doing any damage, and that's because there's an ancient around, and if you don't kill that dinosaur looking loser, he's gonna just sit there and keep negating the damage you're dealing. So that's why I like to have a whip or something like a long range Tomfus, like just so I can slide in there and in the middle of a crowd, say if I can't see because there's too much chaos happening, I can just slide through the room, you know, whip a few times, and it's going to take out that ancient. It's going to allow me to start dealing the damage once again. And as we all know, that's what we're trying to do. You know what I'm talking about? Alright, party people. Okay, so that is pretty much all for the build today, guys. and I will be back with another video. We're going to be reviewing quite a few more weapons and showing some of these really cool, or in my opinion, these really cool builds that really can take you a long way, that are pretty easy to accomplish. This is the build I'm using here for the AkMagnus, just to show y'all, and if you can get a ribbon, oh my god. The disposition, look at that ribbon. That is nasty, okay? That is slap your grandma nasty. That is out of control, sexy stuff right there. So always have Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torment. You want that on every single build that you do for any secondary weapon. If it's a crit weapon, you always are going to want the 2 Prime Target Cracker, Prime Pistol Gambit. If you don't have the Prime version, doesn't matter. Then you want your 2 Elementals, and then you got that bonus spot, which I have a ribbon in. You can throw anything else you want on there. You can throw in some extra crit damage. You could throw in a slash mod if you want, or a 90% elemental. That spot is pretty much up to you. I just so happen to have gotten a really good ribbon, so I wanted to throw that in there. Why? Because it's cool, you guys. You know what I'm talking about, you guys? That's my Cartman for the day. Anyways, y'all, peace, love y'all, and I will be back soon.